And I'm going to go to, when I go into Marvelous Designer, Z plugin, Decimation Master, preprocess current, and we're just going to knock him down. We don't need to take 731,000 polygons into Marvelous Designer. We can take like 80 in there and it'll be fine. Speaking of all what I'm about to do, you can see if you go to my YouTube channel, which I keep spamming you guys with, you can go to Marvelous and ZBrush Quick Start, and that'll take you through even more stuff. But for now, what I would do is take this guy and we'll take his decimation down to like, let's say 88. Hit enter, hit decimate current, and you can see you don't really see anything happen, but when you turn polyframe on, he's a lot fewer polygons. So, and you know what, I'm just going to do a quick mirror and weld. And we'll go ahead and export this onto my desktop as body. You could also, interestingly enough, this is one of the topics we talked about. If you had, say, knee pads, so I'm going to take these knee pads here. I'm going to hold down Shift and bent up arrow and shoot all these to the top here. And I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to turn on dynamic for these things and then turn on crease and then apply. I'm going to merge all this down, hit Control W, and then I'm going to do auto groups, and then I'm going to do a mirror and weld, and then I'm going to take his body here and we're going to go to append his knee pads here. So we can bring this all in as one avatar. So if I wanted to put pants underneath these knee pads, what I could do is I could do one version. Let's go ahead and group both of these together and then group both of these together. So what I could do for one version is move. So if I have W selected, I can hold down, oops. Let's not have Dynamesh on. I can hit W, I can control tap this one, and I can move it out. But first what we're going to do is, yeah, it's a lot of polygons to bring in there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and decimate these. Give me a second. Preprocess these down to like 30K. That'll work. And then again, of course, we'll do another auto groups, and then of course another, let's turn off LSIM for that mirror and weld. That's always a little bit safer to do. You want to do it across the world axis. So anyways, group these together. And we'll call this one, we'll go ahead and merge our guy down. So this will be all one avatar. We'll hit Control W. And we'll go export, and we'll save this as body. You know what? Let's save this as avatar close. I'll undo that, and we'll move these apart. Again, you don't have to do that. You can hit W and then hold down Control and tap, and it'll move these away. And we'll export this as avatar far. So what you should be able to do is do a morph between those two different avatars, and when you have a ClawSim in here, it'll take these things and bring it into your mesh. I get varying results with it. Doesn't really work that well, but just because we're talking about it, I can go ahead and bring it up. The other thing I need to be doing is launching Marvelous Designer. And it's like, well, why wouldn't you use ZBrush to sculpt a cape? And I guess I would use it to sculpt a cape. I don't know that I would use it to do a scarf, or you can do a shirt in ZBrush as well. It's just easier. I'm not a huge cloth sculpting fan. There we go. So I'm going to go to File, Import, OBJ, and we're going to do Avatar Far. Load as avatar, auto scale is fine. There we go. So we've got our avatar in here. We can double click him and make him a little darker so his cloth shows up a little bit better. We can go ahead and make a quick pair of pants, I suppose. So, I mean, for a cape, I'm just going to make a shape like this. And you know what? Let's do a half of that. So I'm going to do this shape here, and then I'm going to go through here. It's been a while since I've been in here. I was in here for a minute for CG Master Academy. So we'll put a point in here, but it has been a while. So if I go back here and we hold down Shift, we can make a little addendum here. Maybe not. Oh, you know what? Let me think. Let's put in another point here, and then I'll hit Z. Takes me a little bit to get acclimated. And then what we can do is we can convert this point here. We have Z selected. convert to curve point, and now you can go through here with these curve tools and kind of make it look like that. So when it comes over his shoulder, we can pin it, and that'll be half of our cape here. Now, if we are going to move this around to the back, you're going to see it's darker on the back side here, so I'm going to go ahead and flip this one horizontally, and we can go ahead and move this over. And then I can take this one here, we'll hit A, and then we're going to symmetric pattern this one. And we can temporarily, we can seam this up later, but just for now what I'm going to do is sew those up, and now we've got a cape. Now if I hit spacebar, it's going to start simming, and it's going to start dropping. So what I'm going to need to do is, I think if I hold down W and move, it'll go ahead and pin, but I'm also going to just go into move mode, and we'll grab both of these, and I can move these around. Let's undo that so we get rid of that pinning here. I'm going to go to the side, and let's change our gizmo a little bit here. Settings, preferences, gizmo, world coordinate, there we go. And now I can just move this and rotate this around. I'm really looking for is just where his shoulders are going to attach here. Come on, Marvelous Designer, work with me. There we go. Okay, so now that I have this out, I can hit sim, and it'll go ahead and start simming on him, and then I can go through here, and you can pin through here. I'm just going to hit W and just do a quick pin to his body. You can also pin, if we undo that, we can pin to his avatar here as well, so we can edit, we can tack on avatar. So you can click like here to here, and then here to here, and then here, whoops, here to here, and then here to here. And now when I hit spacebar, it'll go ahead and fall down. So now he's got a cape on him, and it's a pretty long cape, and this will continue to sim as I move these things in. For the scarf here, that would just be, and you know what, because we were talking about it, let's go ahead and do pants. So what I'm going to do is do this one and this one, and move this over, and we'll do a quick, oh boy, here, down his leg, and then we'll come up, and then in. That'll work. I'll go into Z, move this out, and move this down, and I'm going to click this one, curve point, and then edit this curve a little bit. And that'll be one side of our pants here. And I think this will be fine. And again, this is just super duper simple. We'll go back into A here, and we'll go ahead and clone symmetric pattern. So this will be the other side of our pants here. And we need to sew this thing up. So I'm going to go, well, we need to do the back sides first. So let's go ahead and hit Control Copy, Control Paste, and this will be the back side of our pants. I'm going to go ahead and move these over just a little bit as well. We don't need to see the cape there. And then for this one, again, we're going to do a clone symmetric pattern. This will be the back side of our pants here. And I'm going to go ahead, go back to selection here. We're going to take these, and we're going to say hide 3D pattern. So I'm going to take these two, and we're going to move it around to the back. And again, we got to flip these horizontally, move them in, and now we're going to have a pair of pants. These are probably going to be some tight pants, but we can modify these as we need to. So what we're going to do is go back to sewing here, and we're going to sew up his butt, and we're going to sew up his front, and we're going to need to sew this side where that blue dot is to that side, which means on this side here where that blue dot is, we need to assign it to that side, and we'll just sew those up. And for the interior of the legs, this interior to that interior, and then this interior to that interior. So now that we got these, we can check our sewing. We can hit spacebar, and that'll go ahead and give him a little pair of pants. So you can modify these pants however you want. If you want to, you know, make them longer, make them shorter, whatever you want to do. And you can also loosen them up by, you can go in here and just scale them up if you'd like. And you can also go through here. Let me think. It would be shrinkage, weft, and warp. You can knock that up to like, I don't know, 5 maybe. And that'll kind of loosen up his pants a little bit. You can go through here and modify these however you want. So now that you have this, if you had really loose pants or something, you could go through here with your avatar and go ahead and change that. So let's see if we go through here, and we're going to go show all 3D patterns. So you got all these showing, right? So now if I go through here, let's go ahead and file. So if I go to file, import as OBJ, and this OBJ I want to do avatar close, and we're going to load this not as an avatar but load as a morph target, and it's going to go over 30 frames. So when I hit OK, that'll go ahead and see how it's slowly moving those into place and then clamping onto the cloth. And then this one also got left alone here, so we go ahead and pull this out. There we go, and I guess it's hitting his calves there. So that'll go ahead and squeeze in your meshes here. Now you can see it's a little bit ratty in here, so you would need to kind of maybe mush this around. I don't think the layer system would work all that great for these particular things. Let's see if we can do that real quick. Layer 1. Yes, I know. But because I think that's just putting patterns on top of each other, so I don't know that. Yeah, see how the cloth is doing some weird stuff. So yeah, let's put that back to layer 0. Move this back out. So yeah, it doesn't work for the avatar. So basically what I would do in this situation is, instead of clamping this down, which could work in some situations if we could kind of move it in from the side a little bit better, go through here and paint in or put in a, let's grab our chalk here. Line 3D pattern. Is that the chalk? I guess. So if I wanted to, say, put in a strap here on his leg. Interesting. But what I was really looking for, the texture, and you can see I haven't gone over the new stuff. I guess line is what we're looking at. Okay, no biggie. So I'm going to take his cape and hide it again. So we're going to hide 3D pattern here. Oops. Hide 3D pattern. So if I wanted to put on a line here, I'm just going to use these as guides so I can cut an internal line over here. So let's see, internal rectangle, internal polygon line. So I'm just going to follow this line that I have. Double click that. And then on this one here, it's going to go ahead and do it symmetrically because I have symmetry turned on. Like so. And you could convert these to internal patterns or whatever you want to do. For the edit line, I wonder if I can just, let's see if we can delete all lines. I'll have to look that up. There we go. So we have our internal line sewn on here. And again, you can turn these into curves or whatever you want to do. But basically what I'm looking for here is for all of these lines, let's go hit Z. I'm going to go over here and we're going to turn on elastic, and we're going to drop that ratio down. And then we're going to hit sim. And that'll go ahead and make these internal lines elastic, so it'll kind of pull inwards. It didn't pick the best place to do it, but that's what it's doing. So you could do that here, and that'll just go ahead and cinch it in, and then in your ZBrush file, you can go ahead and make that whatever you want. So now that we have that, and let's go ahead and show all 3D patterns here. If you wanted to do a scarf, it'd be very similar. I would just take something like this, and we would rotate this around here. And again, we could go ahead, we could hit, if you start simming, and then you could go through here and we could just pin this. Instead of tacking it to our avatar, we can go in here to pin box. And I'm just going to go back here and we're just going to say pin all of these guys here. And now when I sim this thing, it'll go ahead and pin to him. And I'm going to go ahead and pin this stuff right here too as well. And then we'll go ahead and sim it. And I can go ahead and take this and we can wrap it around. Again, if you want to freeze some of those other cloths, that are kind of dancing around, you can do that, or you can hide them completely. And then you could pin this back if you wanted to as well. Now tying this in a knot, I'm sure with some fancy footwork you could do that as well. You could also like bring in an avatar of a table if you wanted to fold something, or you can just drop it down to the ground and fold it on the ground. There's a lot of different ways you can use avatars in order to, and you can also use folding. You can put in internal lines and you can fold along those internal lines, and then you can delete those internal lines. It's kind of up to you. So let's see if we can get this thing to flip around and stay there. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take this one here. I'll pull it around. You can also up the friction coefficient on your avatar, and that'll make your avatar stickier. And also, if you want, you can hit spacebar to pause this, and you can go in here to Z, and you can grab this line here, and we can extend it a little bit more. And that'll give you a little bit more cloth here to deal with here. So we've got our scarf on here. I'm going to go ahead and, where's our pin? And we'll go ahead and go back here to, okay, our tacks are still there. Okay, so we didn't delete our tacks. Good, we just deleted our pins. So we've got our scarf on here, we've got our cape. Now you can choose different material properties here. So if we want his pants, for example, to be, here's his pants. It's like, okay, we got a default fabric. I'm going to add another fabric here, and we'll call this pants. So we can just drag this pants onto our, I think our selection here should, there we go. So now we have pants, and these pants, we can change the color if we want to. And we can go over here to our preset, and we can drop that down. You don't get to see this. It's going off the side of the screen, but you can see the presets in here. And we'll say that's lightweight nylon. And for the other default fabric, like the cape and the scarf here, that's going to be under default, and we can choose anything we want. And cotton jersey will be fine. So the other thing you're going to want to do is, as we're simulating this, you're going to see it's not super detailed. So what you can do is select all of these things, and you can go over here and change your particle distance down from like 20 to, say, you can drop it all the way down to 1 if you want to, but I don't need that much resolution for a demo. So we'll raise that resolution a little bit, and now you can see as we simulate this, it's going to be a lot higher resolution on your object here. So we've got our, looks kind of like a vagrant superhero. So now we can go to File. Well, let's go ahead and stop the simulation. File, Export, OBJ, and we'll call this clothing. Sure. And we'll hop back over to ZBrush. Load, not load tool. Import, clothing. There we go. We can take him out of there. Control-Shift-A, split hidden. And now you've got all this clothing on him that you can go through, and you can ZRemesh the stuff if you want. We can take his cape here, and we'll go ahead and split this off. So if you wanted to give this cape some thickness, you could do that. You basically, I mean, we've done that before on our channel a bunch of times. If you go to Michael Pavlovich, live stream highlights, and you scroll down here, I think there's one called like simple pants, simple shirt, and also on the Marvelous Designer thing, I go over it as well. It's basically just doing a lot of Z-modeler and projection and stuff like that. Where's that at? Marvelous Designer, here we go. You can go through here and Z-project and Z-remesh. There you go. So you can take these pants and make them into one solid object.